Mexican food is like a good way to get fat. Okay, a lot of Mexican food is like super greasy, deep fried stuff. I'm talking about the rice and beans element. To get fat off of a diet predominantly made of rice and beans, you have to put a lot of effort in. You have to to get fat off of rice and beans, you have to commit yourself to eating a ridiculous amount of them. Rice and beans are just naturally very filling. Rice is just carbs. Yeah, and carbs are fine. Hey, listen, okay? The keto diet. There's no evidence to... Guys, if you want to diet, it's calories in, calories out, maintain a good bit of exercise, go on walks at least every other day. Dieting is conceptually easy. It's just difficult to do because eating is fun, you know? But people are like, oh, do the Atkins diet. Oh, do the keto diet. Oh, do, periodic fasting. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Maybe there's some specific kind of diet that works good with you because you have a preference for some types of foods over others, or some types of things fill you up better. There's a lot of variety there, but the reason why they're called fad diets is because they're fad diets. They don't work on their own. There's no substitute for the discipline to just eat less, exercise more. Though I do think there are ways to make it easier for yourself, like finding good, healthy, simple, filling meals. You know, I mean, obviously it's a lot harder to diet if you're getting all your calories from beef or fried food. That makes it a lot more difficult. Periodic fasting isn't BS. Nah, I've heard this, I've heard that. I just don't put any stock in it, you know? Yeah, and carbs are good for you. People say carbs are bad for you, carbs are destructive, whatever. That's complete nonsense, okay? Carbs are what your body uses for energy. You should have carbs. Have carbs before going on a walk. People are terrified of carbs because of the keto shit. It's complete nonsense. Have carbs. Your body uses those. It needs them, you know? Yeah, and fat is good for you. That's why people talk about hitting your macros. Protein, fat, carbs. A lot of people think that protein is the good place to get your calories and carbs and fat aren't. That's BS. You need all three. You can't not have all three. You know, if you try to skip that and go oh, well, I'll just get all my calories from this, that, the other, you know. Yes, Mediterranean food is excellent. You're so wrong. And I promise you that I am correct on this. I promise you. A lot of people don't even necessarily need to track calories to lose weight. They may just have to adjust their relationship to food. Yeah, there's a lot. It's really just about how you manage your hunger, you know? In terms of exercise, I recently got, though I haven't used less, I recently got an under-the-desk treadmill, or an in-front-of-the-desk treadmill. If you tend to spend a lot of time on the computer, maybe you could get a treadmill in front of it, so that if you're playing a game that just has a gamepad, so you can just hold the gamepad, you know, you can just walk on the treadmill and, you know, get a bit of exercise in during that. You can just end up inadvertently walking 4 or 5 miles just while trying to beat one Elden Ring boss or something, you know, yeah. Well, yeah, you want protein, of course, Belgium tea. I used to use my resistance bands during cutscenes. Lol. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, 100%. People really... The gym... Okay, maybe this is a controversial belief. I genuinely think that for 95% of the people who want to exercise, the gym is a waste of money. The gym is an overpriced, unnecessary place to go. And I have a home gym, so I wouldn't need to go anyway. But even if I didn't, for most people... resistance bands and a couple of very basic calisthenic exercises, along with walking, will be able to get you quite fit. You know, you will be able to do a lot just with that. I'm generalizing here, but I want to make it clear because I fully believe this, and I will defend this 100%. Okay, that even without ever touching a machine or a weight, anything made of metal, anything heavy thing you lift up, you put it down. Okay. I'm just saying for a male or whatever, you can have a body that looks like this, purely off of walking, calisthenics, resistance bands, and that kind of stuff you can have at home, you know? Totally, absolutely you can. Obviously, it takes a lot of hard work, you know? I'm not saying that it's easy. That takes a lot of hard work, because you can do a lot of hard work with resistance bands and stuff. But absolutely you can, for sure, yeah. And starving yourself? No. You can't starve yourself to get muscle. You need to eat to get muscle. Obviously, most fit people don't have like 8% body fat or whatever that is, because it's actually very difficult to maintain that deliberately, especially if you have muscle. If you're just very lean by default, that's one thing. But, I'm only saying I think that gyms are good for people who want very specific kinds of exercise, people who have disabilities that need to be accommodated for by machines that help guide the weight you're lifting, and for like the upper echelon of people who are fit, the people at like the top of fitness who legitimately cannot do that much more with calisthenics or with resistance bands. But for most people, you can get that shit for $8 off Amazon, and if you learn how to use them and you learn the exercises, you can look really good without a gym membership. I wish somebody had been around to tell me this when I was young, because I wasted a lot of time, money, travel time, everything with this gym nonsense. And again, like, there's nothing wrong with going to the gym, and there are things that you can only do with the gym, of course, if you want to get like really strong, like bench press or squats or whatever. Yeah. But in terms of general fitness, yeah, it's not as gate kept as a lot of people seem to think. What do? Do you go to the gym? I do chronic pain in my chest. That's what I do. But I have a home gym. Just how it fits, circular eclipse. Biking is also great. Walking is great. What about bouldering? Well, that's great exercise if you're down for that. Machines or weights, bands? I have machines and weights. I have a decently extensive home gym. Though again, I haven't used it in a while because of my costochondritis, but I would like to. It's hard to muster up the will to work out. It's so boring. That's why I think a treadmill under or in front of the desk when you're at the computer is a good idea. Maybe going out on a walk for an hour is boring, and I agree. I get bored pretty easily. But if you just have a, if you literally, you can just watch a YouTube video. I think an under the desk treadmill, the one I got was $300, and I think it's a fine machine. I'm sure there are better and worse ones, but that's pretty good. Oh, speaking of walking around, guess what I got for the first time in my life today? I got some wireless earbuds. They're Jabra Athletic 7 or something like that. I've never really trusted these because I've always worried about them falling out of my ear. Because I'm an autist and I'm always picking up and putting down my phone when I'm walking all the time. Yeah, Jabra Elite 7 Active, that's right. My earbuds will always get twisted when I'm on a walk, and now I don't have to deal with that. And I wore these for a couple of hours just walking around the house, and they didn't fall out, which means that they're a lot better than I thought they would be. So that's pretty dope. They sound pretty good too. I'm impressed. Yeah, I guess I've been a little bit of kind of like a codger on these. I've always thought like, I don't need that. But now, I don't want to be one of those people growing older. I think these are quite nice. What's the heaviest weight you can lift, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I'm injured. I have both a back injury and costochondritis right now. But when I was at the height of my strength, when I was 16 years old, I could deadlift about 400 pounds, and my max squat was 315, both with clean form. If I had kept up with the exercise, I would probably be enormously strong by now, assuming no injury. But I stopped working out when I was in college, so most of the strength that I have now is just kind of residual. So you were weak. Yes, so I was weak. Muscle memory is a thing? Yeah, it is. Once I'm not injured, What's your favorite exercise overall? Cable cross or cable rows on a cable cross machine. When you have a handle like out here and out on the other arm, and they're connected to a cable, and you pull them forward like this to sort of in like a big like hug motion while holding them. It's a chest exercise, and it works the biceps and forearms a bit too. I have always found those incredibly fun, very satisfying. So are seated rows. Any exercise that feels like it comes close to a real motion that you do all the time in life, I feel is very satisfying to pull off. Cable flies? I think I'm thinking of cable flies. My terminology, I think I've forgotten a lot of it. But yeah, that thing, When will your injury heal? I don't know, man. Jesus Christ, they weren't saying that I could just do that weight again. They were saying that I'd be able to regain that muscle faster than it took me to get it originally. I used to deadlift 500 every week when I was on steroids. Nice, KCJ. Whether you're on roids or not, that's tough. So literally muscle memory? Muscle memory is a real thing. It's not magic, but if you used to be a lot stronger and more muscular, your body has an easier time using the proteins to rebuild the muscle when it receives micro tears from the exercise. It's brain memory, really? No. The way that muscles get larger when you work out is when you use your muscles, The muscles are really just like thousands and thousands of tiny strands of muscle fibers, and they tear small. They tear a little bit. The tighter ones, the ones that are more susceptible, the ones that are more fragile, they tear. And the body uses muscle protein, or they use proteins to rebuild the muscle. But if you used to be more muscular than you are now, your body has kind of a blueprint for how to develop that growth when you have those micro tears again. Yeah, there's like a localized memory thing. I mean, it's very complicated. I don't know like the details, but that is how it works. Yeah, it's neat. Vosh, I took your advice and bought a bunch of tortillas, rice, beans, and a jar of pickled jalapenos. It cost like $25 and lasted me like 4 days. Veggie tacos every day. It's especially good if you get lime juice and squirt that shit in there. Yeah. It's like meal prep stuff, but the problem is that a lot of meal prep culture is dominated by one, bodybuilders, and all they eat is chicken and rice, and B, like Sigma grind set life hack types, where they're like, buy a pizza and then break into 8 slices and put it in 8 pieces of Tupperware, and now you've got 8 meals or whatever, like some crap like that. When in reality, I swear to God, Mexican food is like the shortcut to healthy eating, because there are so many ways you can make rice and beans really tasty with like minimal ornamentation, and it's really cheap and it's easy to do, and there's a lot of variety. And if you can do that, and you could get like pretty good at that, and you can do that easily, like getting good at making a couple of select meals. We're not talking anything complicated like making like I don't know, empanadas or whatever. We're just talking like simple meals. And once you can do that, you can eat like practically for free. You can get good cheap food, and lime juice on everything, and lime juice on everything makes it better. Cuban black beans and pork rice is so good. Yeah. Oh yeah. What if I hate beans? There has to be some kind of beans that you like. Like there are many types of beans. No? There's got to be something comparable. Rice? Everyone likes rice.